And think about this. Back in the day, when Arn slapped me, I'm an independent contractor. Okay, I could have sued them. Okay, and probably gotten $40,000 easy, just without even a trial or nothing.
Instantly, right? Just to settle.
Yeah, because back in the '90s, Scott Hall had slapped somebody. Somebody else had slapped somebody, and the settlement was like it was weird because they settled for $40,000. So that was like the going rate for getting slapped back then, like around like with the law, you know.
Why did Arn Anderson slap you?
He was annihilated.
Jeez.
When wasn't he annihilated?
Were you on that? Were you in that bus?
No, but when wasn't he stuffed up, bro? He was always
all
drunk.
pilled up and drunk, and it was a red-eye flight, and we had landed. He'd been up all night pilling and drinking, bro. He'd pulled a knife on Mike Enos on the plane because Mike Enos was on his cell phone, and Enos and Arn thought the plane was going to crash.
That kind of makes the Arn and Sid thing, you look at it different, because it's always portrayed like Sid was crazy, attacked him.
Yeah, but back then we all used to get stuffed up all the time. Right. You can't. There's no way we could act like in today's day.
Bro, not just that. If you even thought about going to the law or stooging somebody off, you might as well leave the wrestling industry because you would just have a black. I would love to see how KG would have done in that environment back then.
I would have done just fine, man, because I'm a professional.
you gotta understand too. But like when Arn did that to me, I mean that was such a bro. We were like we used to drive together. You know, it's like we were like right. We were like kind of like we had a really weird relationship because I would always because I drive. I was like kind of like to him I was kind of like the young boy. I drive.
Driver, bag carrier.
Yeah, I'm show my respect. But I never carried him back. So basically just show your respect. I tried. He had the car, you know. So if you drive with our cat, I drive. You know, but we always used to have some pretty entertaining arguments.
So he slapped you, and what did you do back?
What could I could do? I looked at it's like everybody was in shock.
You got a set of balls, don't you? Somebody slaps you and you don't do shit.
Well, it was like it came out like Perry Saturn looked at me and like shook his head and said, "I don't do anything," because everybody was like, "Look," because everybody knew Arn was annihilated. You know, and then Shane, your mic is bad.
Being annihilated with a damn punch nose, you ever slapped me?
Well, not the one secondly, he had his glasses on too.
Oh, I don't give a shit that you had a damn walking cane. You slapped me in the face, it's gonna be on.
Hey, your mic's bad, Shane.
No, my mic ain't bad. Your backbone is bad.
But also, in addition, your mic is bad.
I got the same situation that I always have, so I don't know what's going on.
All right, so why didn't you punch him in the face? I want to get back to this.
Well, first of all, because first of all, everybody was annihilated. Okay, we were all fucked up from the flight. Second, the first thing that went through my head was shock, and like everybody, you can understand that it was weird because it's like a rental car bus. Okay, so it's like a very weird position where like there wasn't. He was sitting behind. I was sitting on the aisle of one seat. He was one row behind me on the other seat, okay, on the opposite aisle, and I was like turned around sitting sideways, okay. The first thing that did when he slapped me, everybody like the look on everybody's face was complete shock because it came out of nowhere and it really wasn't like I didn't do anything to make him want to slap me. The first thing that went through my head is like, if I hit this guy, am I gonna get fired? Because Arn was office.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once somebody hits you though, dude.
Yeah, but it wasn't like it was like a slap, but it was like, I'm like, did he just do that?
Bro, back then, let me explain something to you. If Disco would have hit, if Arn hit Disco first or whoever it was, Arn was going to end up winning that. You know, right. The bigger the name or the bigger the star you are, that's how it went.
But do you think Conan
did not, Shane?
Do you think Conan the Disco would have got a penalty like that, like lost his job over it, or would have been like he got heat for slapping Arn back, and it would have been told not to do it again?
Fired over. Yeah, he could have gotten fired over. It depends how many people jumped in. If Ric Flair got into it and and pushed it, he would have gotten fired. There was definitely, and these are Arn's words, which actually made me laugh. He goes, there are double and triple standards in this company, and he was right. Yeah. What were you saying, Shane?
I got fired for getting in a fight with a top guy, so I would have got fired back then too. Jericho in a damn cab.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it started at a gas station or something?
In the damn eye. No, it was
what
in
happened?
A cab.
What do you mean? What happened?
I never heard this story.
Come on.
Yeah, we were in the cab. We were both all
when they were arrested.
Isn't
it when you were arrested?
About it. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And we laughed about it later. Wasn't a big deal. Like we ended up hating each other, but that's what happened. Like I just grew up differently. I grew up. You lay hands on me, it's going down. I don't care what happens. And I'm not trying to come off like the ultimate fighting machine, and I'm gonna win every fight. But it's going to happen. Like if you hit me, we're going.
Well, I can tell by
consequences be damned.
I can tell by the way like Shane's the type of guy that if you grew up fighting and in a place like I grew up in the suburbs of Marietta, Georgia. You know what I'm saying? I didn't I went to private school and everything.
And he went to private school, and his mom had a Mercedes like his whole life. So
I didn't have like rough upbringing fighting and stuff and everything, all that, But and I didn't really have to fight. I only had like 3 or 4 fights in my life, So but like with Shane, you can tell like when you fight with Shane on Facebook, he kind of like the Steiner brothers. He kind of like tries to gouge your eyes out. Right. Like if you fight him. If you engage with Shane, he's going to try to win at all costs, and that's what people that grow up fighting do. Yeah, it's like
there ain't no rule book on the street.
Right. You fight. You grow up fighting. You fight to fight because nobody's like you said right. There's no rule books in fights. It's like, hey, what are the rules, guys, before we start fighting here? Unless you're meeting somebody after class and everybody stand around, then you kind of like basically know, okay, we're gonna. One guy's gonna beat the other guy up until somebody pulls until one guy submits, right? So,
but also that's the way. Like those people that do that, they don't really have these grudges that last forever either. They go fight and it's over, and then it's over, and you never like have any more real animosity with them.
Right, like they settle it. That's kind of why I try to play a hand in assisting settling this this Disco and Cyrus thing. You know what I mean? Because then get it out of their system, and everyone can be friends again.
I doubt that's your purpose.
Do you have the kazoo? Conan, for that one?
Yeah, that's not true at all.
You took a verbal face slapping